Check one, check two. Since you know what to do. What's going on, family? What's going on? What's going on? Happy Monday. Today is Monday. Appreciate you being here. It's your boy Pop. I pray that you had a phenomenal weekend. Welcome to day 7 of the YouTube challenge with yours truly. Thank you for rocking with me all last week. The feedback has been phenomenal. Been getting comments, people reaching out, like people I don't even know, letting me know that they've enjoyed the video and to keep going, encouraging me to keep going because, you just never know who's pulling up. You never know who's watching. So I just want to thank everybody for watching. I pray that last week you really got some value. And this week is going to be no different. So last week we zoned in, we focused in on clarity, the importance and the significance of clarity, and how clarity unlocks everything else for you, as far as your audience is concerned, as far as your content is concerned, as far as you being able to avoid burnout, build confidence. Clarity is the key to it all, right? And the clearer we get, the easier it gets, okay? The clearer we get, the easier it gets, okay? Because our clarity is going to inform our messaging. It's going to inform our products and our services. It's going to inform our content. It's going to inform our captions. It's going to inform our emails. It's going to inform everything that is associated with our brand, our business, and also how we show up every single day, right? And the clearer we get as we show up, we're going to be showing up on purpose. We're going to be showing up with confidence. And our people are going to be able to identify that, yes, this is the person that I need to tap in with. This is the person that I need. This is the answer to my prayer and the solution to my problem. And that's where we want to be, okay? So last week, you can go back from day 1 to day 5. All week, talked about clarity, and I believe day 6. Yes, day 6 is the week 1 recap. So go ahead and watch. If you haven't, you could binge watch from day 1 to day 6, and everything that you need is there. You could read. You could watch the actual episode that day or that live that day. You could also read the caption. Got some additional information in the caption as well. So it's definitely worth your time, because that last week is building on this week. And this week, our focus is going to be just basically organizing your clarity now being able to departmentalize it and deploy it properly. And so we're going to start today with something that may be familiar to you, but may not be familiar to you. And either way, if it is familiar, then it's going to be kind of a beautiful kind of refreshing or recapping or reintroduction, even, if you will. For those who may not know or be familiar with this, then this is going to be something brand new. So as always, I'm about to pull my slides up. You can take screenshots, you can take notes, however it is that you feel most comfortable, right? Those who's catching the replay, you can most certainly do the same thing. And also, every single day, I'm going to be doing some slides, right? So if the slides that I've been using for my lives, if you want access to those slides, I could most certainly make those available to you. So let me know in the comments if you want to be able to get access to all the slides from the lives thus far. If so, let me know in the comments, and we'll work out a way for you to be able to access those. Okay, so just want to throw that out there. All right, so without further ado, as you can hear, your boy's a little underneath the weather. Been fighting, been battling something this weekend, but nonetheless, I think I'm on the other side, on my way out of it. But nonetheless, got to show up for the people, right? Got to show up for my people, and you're my people. So I'm just honored and blessed to be able to, do this and hang out with you, share some content, share some sauce, if you will, share some insight, share some wisdom, and share some practical application or practical information that you can apply, right? Because like we said, yes, as we said on day 6, information is cool. Information is cool. But information without application is not going to bring transformation. Come on, bars. Bars. All right, here we go. All right, y'all ready? Let's get to it. All right, so I think this one is this one. Yes, content pillars. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. Content pillars, the foundation of your strategy. Okay. So now, last week we talked about clarity. Now we're moving into how you can snowball that, how you can use your clarity to now begin to build out the foundation of your content strategy. Okay. And for those of you, again, who are familiar with content pillars, tap in, because I might actually expose an angle to it that maybe you never considered before, or maybe you might be confused about it. And my prayer is that this will bring you some clarity. Okay. Or if you've never heard of content pillars before, that's all good too. This is going to be a beautiful introduction to, I think, something that is so very powerful to your longevity in this content game, in these social media streets. Okay. Your longevity, and as we talked about last week, clarity also prevents burnout. So this is another mechanism, if you will, or another safeguard. That's the word I want to use. Another safeguard to prevent burnout as you are creating your content and you're looking to show up consistently and confidently for your folks, for your people. All right, so let's get into it. Number one, can you relate to this? Okay, can you relate to this? You sit down to plan your content and your mind goes blank. Your mind goes blank. Okay, can you testify to that? There has been so many times. Come on, let me just talk to you. Let me talk to you. In my personal experience, there's been more than a handful of times. Let me shoot. I've been creating content for years now, maybe 5 years, 6 years now, right? Yo, so many times I say, yo, listen, I'm gonna sit down and I'm going to write out this content, and I'm gonna get all these ideas, and I'm gonna plan out what I'm gonna do. And guess what? I literally get up from the wherever I'm sitting, and I walk away. I will sit there. My mind will be blank. Crickets you will hear. And I will get up and I will walk away. It's happened to me so many times. My mind goes blank, right? And if so, I just wanted to share that, because if that's you, that's all right. That's all right. You're not alone. You're not alone. Okay? You're not alone. So your mind goes blank. You ask yourself, what should you post about? What should you post about? Last week we also talked about, when I'm saying what should I post, that is a reactionary question, right? It's a reactionary question. I'm in a position now where I have to post, and now I'm asking myself, what should I post, right? And this is why we talked about clarity, because clarity is the preparation that you need to no longer be reactionary with your content, where you're just throwing something together because somebody told you that you need to post every day. So because somebody has told you that you need to post every day, you just throw something together, because that reactionary question was, what should I post? So you're reacting to that question, as opposed to having clarity and already preparing and having your strategy, a clear strategy, so that this way it is not a question of what should I post. It's more so of a question of, when am I going to post? Or it's more so of a question of, it's not even so much a question. You already know what it is that you're going to post, right? So we want to move from being reactionary with our content, because that's when our content is not going to be good. It's not going to be, and I don't care how great the quality of the content is as far as the visual is concerned. If we are reacting, then it's never going to be all that it could be as far as our content. But also, if you, even in life, right? If you're constantly in a place where you're reacting, how exhausting is that? Right? How exhausting is that? How off-putting is that? How frustrating is that? So we want to move in our content from being reactionary to being prepared, being clear and being prepared. Okay? All right, cool. All right. So you feel like you're making it up as you go. Again, this is a reaction, right? This is a reaction, right? So we want to move from reactionary to preparedness. All right. So can you relate to this? What should I post? You feel like you feel like literally when you're creating your content, you're making it up as you go. Every single day is something new, right? Every single day is you're grasping for straws to try to, right? It's real. I've been there. So listen, don't be dismayed, don't be discouraged, because we got the solution on today. We're gonna talk solutions today. Okay, so here's the problem. Your content is all over the place. Your content is all over the place. Okay. One day you're talking about your mindset. Another day you're talking about marketing tips. The next day you're talking about recipes. The next day you're talking about your dog's wash and clip. Okay. The next day you're talking about a weird wart, right, that you found on your foot. The day after that, right, you're talking about your desire to just want to tiptoe through the tulips and roll around on sand dunes, right? So every single day, you're talking about something else, right? And all your content is going in 1,000 different directions. And this is why people are not sticking around, right? Or if you're getting people, you're getting people who are interested in maybe the dog stuff, but they're not interested in marketing. They're not interested in what your business offers. They're not interested in any of that. They came because of the dogs. You mentioned the your struggle with keeping your dog groomed properly, right? Now, does that mean that you should never talk about your dog? Does that mean that you should never talk about your hobbies? Does that mean no? I'm not saying that. But there is a way to do so, right? And I don't know if we're going to get to that in this video, but there's a way in order to do that. Primarily, your content should be tied to something, right? Because here's the thing. We want to make sure that we are attracting the right people, right? Because when we attract our ideal audience, then that is going to make it easier for us to convert that audience into customers. And ultimately, we want to build relationship, we want to build community, but we also want to have customers too. We're in business, right? We don't have no customers, then we don't have a business. We have a hobby. And so this is why being all over the place is very dangerous. When you're trying to build your presence, when you're trying to build out your messaging, when you're trying to establish yourself as an authority, and I even hate saying that, when you're trying to establish yourself as someone who can actually help and actually solve a problem that your ideal audience or your bullseye audience or your people have. So we have to be very mindful of the congruity and consistency of our content, particularly when we're trying to build momentum and establish ourselves or be known for something. Once you're known for something, particularly in alignment with and connected to the product or the service that you offer, right? Then once you have established that, then yes, if you want to take a post and you want to talk about your pet grooming or whatever, you can do that for sure, right? However, you could even do that on your stories if you're on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, TikTok, right? You could sprinkle that in there from time to time. but it cannot dominate your feed, because then you're going to again track the people who are interested in your dog grooming content, but are not interested in anything that's tied to your brand, that's tied to your business, right? Or tied to establishing you as a trusted guide resource in a particular niche industry that's going to help them and give to them or help them to develop a skill set that is going to take them from where they are to where it is that they desire to be. Okay? So we have to just be mindful about the content that we're creating, and we have to be very clear to make sure that our content is congruent and consistent with who we say that we are. All right? Cool. So, your audience is confused. When your content is all over the place, bottom line is your audience is confused, and it's an indication that you're confused too. Right? When you're all over the place, it's an indication. Well, one, your audience is confused, and it's an indication that you're confused too. And I promise you, if you're as in the social media streets, if your audience is confused, they're not sticking around. They are not sticking around. We talked about it last week. People are coming to be entertained. Some people are coming to find something of sustenance. I think that's the word. They're looking for specific things, right? Some people are just scrolling. There are so many different archetypes and so many different type of people who are on social media. Okay? When you are, and also just from a psychological standpoint, your brain, I read this in the StoryBrand. Shout out to Don Miller, right? In the StoryBrand, he talks about, or it was a StoryBrand? I think it was StoryBrand. Or it was one of it. I have quite a few of his books. But anyway, one of his books. He was talking about how he had a friend who was like a neuroscientist or something along those lines. Basically, when he was talking, and his friend switched from that to like starting this company. And what he was saying was, what he shared with Don was, being clear is so important because our brains, the way that we're wired, our brain is trying to preserve energy. So it's in this constant state of trying to like get rid of things that are not necessary, so to speak, right? And so when we are inundated with information, our brains are not receiving all of that information, right? Because it's like, okay, it's literally searching for, okay, what of this do I need or can I use? You know what I'm saying? If I can't use whatever I can't use, because whatever I can't use, I'm getting rid of because I need that energy. And why do I say this? Because if you're confusing your audience, even from a psychological standpoint, they're going to forget you. Because if you are making them exhaust too much of their brain energy to try to figure out who you are and what you do, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Some may, but the vast majority, and myself included, I'm not going to stick around and try to figure out. Like, if I have to ask myself, like, yo, what's this? What's going on here? I'm out. I'm on to the next thing. I'm on to trying to find exactly what it is, or somebody that is speaking my language that I can connect with, right? Or that's speaking to what it is that I'm looking for. All right. So when your content is all over the place, your audience, you're confusing your audience, and it's an indication that you also are confused. So here's what you need. Okay, here's the solution. We talked about the problem. Let's talk about the solution. So the solution to this is you need content pillars. Now, content pillars are 3 to 5 core topics you talk about consistently. Now, I usually kind of keep it within the three. Personally, I only have 3 content pillars, and I'm going to share with you my content pillars in about, I think, another slide or two. My 3 content pillars. I stick with 3. Some people say 3 to 5. If 5 is feasible for you, cool. Um, for me, I just try to keep things as tight and tucked as I possibly can. So 3 to 5 core topics you talk about consistently. Okay. Now I also want to make sure that I am very clear. One of the things that I was very, very, very weary of when I was introduced to this whole content pillar, some people call it content buckets, whatever the terminology you would like to use, it's fine. But when I first was introduced to this, I was like, no. As a creative, I was like, no, sir, I can't do this because people are going to get bored of me. If I'm consistently talking about the same things over and over and over again, people are going to get bored. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to my first content coaches, Travis and Dan. Dan was hosting Dan and Travis were hosting a workshop. And Travis introduced to me a concept that I never heard before. And this is a real, like, scientists did a real study on this concept, and it's called bounded creativity. And what bounded creativity basically means is, I'm not even gonna say the popular thought, but a thought, at least from my perspective and what I thought was, if I only talked about one thing, then I would run out of things to talk about within the realm of that one thing, and ultimately that would hold me in bondage. And as a creative, one thing that I hate being is bound. But this idea of bounded creativity, what they found was, what the studies found, is that when people have a limited or boundaries around their creativity, it actually makes them more creative, because now they have to be more creative within the boundaries of their creativity. So what am I saying? You start to think about more creative ways to express this one message. It forces you to actually dig deeper into your creative bag, right? To look at this thing from different angles and expose it from different angles and approach it from different angles. So you actually being bound to a particular concept, or your creativity being bound to this area, so to speak, actually makes you more creative. And that absolutely blew my mind, because as I thought about it more, it makes all the sense in the world, right? Because if I know that this is all I could talk about, okay, how many different ways can I talk about this thing? Right? How many different visuals can I use? How many different stories can I implement and tie into this particular subject matter? Right? What parts of my life are directly tied into this particular thing? Right? And it allows your imagination to actually run wild, but it gives it a very dialed in and focused, target. There it is. And this is what these content pillars will do for you, right? The content pillars will allow your imagination to run, will give you the longitude or the space, okay, to be able to be creative. But these content pillars give you a pointed target, that all of that creativity and all of the things that you'll put on within the context or underneath the headline of that pillar, all of that content is pointed towards one goal, pointed to one target. You got me? Okay. So Content pillars, okay? 3 to 5 topics that you can talk about consistently. They give you focus, they give you structure, they give you endless ideas. Okay? All right, cool. Moving right along. All right? I want to get you going so you can hop right into this today, right? This week. So, what are content pillars? The 3 to 5 main topics that you want to be known for. Okay, what are the 3 to 5 topics that you want to be known for? Okay, so this goes back to what we talked about earlier. You want to be known for something. All right. So as I said, it's not bad that you post about your dog and the grooming and all of that. That's cool. It's not bad that you want to talk about what you like to do as far as the walks in the park and all of that. Cool. That's fine. But the question is that what you want to be known for? And if that's not what you want to be known for, then that's content that you share on your stories, right? That's content that you share on stories because stories allows you to be able to be a little bit for your people to see you behind the scenes and different things that you're doing, and allows you to connect with them on a more personal, intimate level. Okay? For now, utilize your feed to only talk about things that you want to be known for. Start there. And as you establish your brand, and as people know you and begin to associate you with what it is that you do, like you become top of mind with them, like they know that they can, if they have any questions in this industry or how to do this particular thing, they're gonna come holler at you. They're gonna come to your content. Once you have established that, then yes, you can sprinkle in all of those other things. But right now, we want to focus on the things the 3 to 5 topics, or the 3 to 5 things that we want to be known for. Okay, that we want to be associated with our brand. Okay, so they keep your content focused and consistent. They make planning easy because you always know what to talk about. All right, we talked about eliminating burnout. This is what we're doing last week. We set the foundation, clarity. Clarity is the superfood to fight the disease of burnout. Okay? Clarity is a superfood. And now, this week, I'm giving you, I don't know even what you want to call it. But now this week with content pillars, we are trying to, by any means necessary, we are trying to alleviate burnout, okay, and put layers of protection and safeguards around us mentally, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. We want to be able to show up as our best selves. We want to be able to show up with confidence, and we want to show up consistently, but we want to show up with confidence, okay? And the way that we do that is by having clarity and having these pillars in place, all right? So that this way we are never reactionary with our content. We always know what we're going to post. Why? Because we have these pillars, so we know the talking points that we're going to be we have these several things that these content pillars that we could be talking about, and then we'll be able to list different topics, different subtopics underneath each one of those content pillars. So this way you'll never, ever run out of ideas. You'll never ask yourself, what am I going to post? You'll look at your content pillars and say, okay, I'm posting this, I'm posting this, I'm posting this. All right, I'm gonna do a carousel about this. I'm gonna do a video about this. I'm going to react to I saw something on my feed that I thought was wrong, so I'm going to react to that video and this. So you and you could sit down as the first slide said. So now, when you sit down to post, when you sit down to plan your content, you're looking at your pillars and you're saying, okay, I'm going to talk about this on Monday. I'm going to talk about this Tuesday. I'm going to talk about this Wednesday. Or if you're posting 3 times a week, or whatever your cadence is as far as your posting schedule, okay, you could pull 2 or 3 things from this pillar. You know what? This week, like for instance, you'll see my pillars. One of my pillars is heavy on clarity. Last week I did a whole week on just clarity. I wasn't worried about what I was going to be talking about from day to day last week because I pulled everything out of clarity. I said, okay, clarity is one of my pillars, and okay, what parts of clarity do I need to tap on? And those were the things that I pulled from. Right? I can listen, and that was only for 5 days. I can go. If I can do a whole nother week on just clarity because that's how important it is, right? And that's how much I love talking about it. But I want to be known for someone that could break down these more complex ideas that really get you stuck. I want to be the person I want to be the person that people go to when they need clarity on their content. I want to be the person that is able to take something that is I want to be the person that people come to when they are experiencing even blockages, when they are convinced that they can't create content, or they're struggling creating content, or they're stuck, right? But they understand that, hey, I still need to create content. But but everybody is telling me to do, but nobody's telling me how. Nobody's teaching me how. Nobody's giving me the insight on how. I want to be the how. I want to be the dude that you can come and teaches you in clear and concise and understandable language how to do, how to create the content, how to get in the proper mindset, how to be consistent, how to be confident. I want to be the dude who shows you the how, who teaches you the how, and gives you the tools that you need to and encourages you to pull out what you already have in you, so that you can be and show up for your people, and put your stake in the ground as, hey, this is me, this is what I do, and this is how I help you. And you don't need nobody else but me to do it. You deserve that. Your brand, your business. You have knowledge, expertise, and information that somebody desperately needs. And so if I can teach you how to create the content and how to get clear and how to create these content pillars, if I can help you do that, then that makes you unstoppable. And I want you to be unstoppable. And I want you to feel as if you're unstoppable. I want you to believe that you're unstoppable. I don't want you to worry about burnout anymore. I don't want you to worry about what am I going to post. I don't want you to be reactionary with your content anymore. I want you to be fully present. I want you to be crystal clear. And I no longer want content to be an obligation for you. I want content to be an opportunity. What do I mean by that? I want content to become something that you enjoy doing because you understand and know that by you showing up with consistency and confidence, you are sharing with someone information, knowledge, expertise, and showing someone how to do something that is going to get them out of and get them unstuck. There's somebody that is stuck at point A, and they are desperately seeking for someone to help them to get to point B. And guess what? You have the tools that could build that bridge from A to B for them. And so that knowledge motivates you and inspires you to show up even when you don't feel like it, because you know that there's somebody that is depending on you, depending on your information, depending on your knowledge, depending on your expertise, depending on your know-how. There's somebody dependent on that. And so because of the desire to be able to help that person, you show up even when you don't want to, And content is no longer a burden, it is an opportunity, because through your content, you get the opportunity to be able to serve and help them and get them unstuck and unlock a different level of their lives that they would not have been able to do in and of themselves. This is why I teach content. This is why I teach clarity. It is not, it's transformative, y'all. Content has transformed my life. Literally. So I don't just talk about it just to talk about it because everybody else is talking about it. It changed my life, y'all. So I understand the transformative power and nature of content done correctly. And I want you to do content correctly because you are going to transform people's lives. Let me get off my soapbox and get to these slides so I can finish up here. Okay. Content pillars. All right. They make planning easier. Okay, make planning your content easier because you always know what you're going to talk about. All right, so we're moving from being reactionary in our content. All right, from being reactionary in our content to being proactive and being prepared with our content. So here's some examples of my content pillars. Okay, clarity is one of my pillars. All right, so finding your niche, your message, your audience. This is what I want to be known for. Okay. I want to get you clear on how you find your niche or find your people, how to dial in your message and make it very clear and concise, right? And also make you hyper aware of your audience or help you to discover who your ideal audience is or target or bullseye audience is. Okay, that's one of my pillars. So last week, this is what I did. 5 days, 6 days. I only focused in that pillar. Now, this week, I'm talking about content strategy, which is another one of my pillars. So for the next 6 days, 5 days, I'm going to be talking about how to plan your content. I'm going to be talking about how to create your content, right? I'm going to talk about how to repurpose your content. So these are the things that I'm going to be talking about this week. Okay? And mindset, overcoming fear, building your confidence. Mindset is huge. Another reason why I start with with clarity is because clarity is a mental sport. Clarity is a mental sport, right? A lot of us are stuck not because we're not creative, not because we don't have the goods, so to speak. Not that we don't have the information or the knowledge or the expertise or the know-how. We have it all. But a lot of the times we're overthinking, we're underestimating ourselves, imposter syndrome, all of those things. So it's more so of a mental blockage than a creative one. Right? And so if you go back to week 1 and you listen, and even today, mindset is intertwined into really every piece of content, or every day I'm going to be talking about mindset. And I'm going to be talking about a piece of each one of the pillars that my content falls underneath, and that my content is created from. Right? Every single day, if you listen to me closely, clarity, strategy, and mindset. Clarity, strategy, mindset are the 3 things that you're going to consistently hear me talk about. If it either is going to be, it will be one at a time, or I'll be interweaving all 3 in together. Okay? Because that's what I want to be known for. That's what I feel that I'm good at. And that's what my people need. Got me? Okay. So every post I create falls under one of these pillars. Every single post I create, it falls underneath one of these pillars. And sometimes when I'm feeling froggy, I'll incorporate all 3. When I do my courses, when I do my when I do my master classes and things along those lines, like, or in these type of situations and settings, I'm intertwining all three because all three of them are extremely important. Okay? So, there we go. Boom. So, to close this out, our action step for today is the pillar builder. Okay? So, I want you to write down 3 to 5 topics you want to be known for. 3 to 5 topics that you want to be known for. Okay? These are your content pillars. These are going to be your content pillars. Okay? And ask yourself, what do I want people to come to me for? What do I want people to come to me for? Okay? This is, screenshot this, write it down, because this is where we're going to start off this week, and we're going to build from here we're going to build from here moving forward. All right? Okay? So, write down 3 to 5 topics you want to be known for. These are your content pillars. Okay? Critical question. What do I want people to come to me for? All right? And this like that. There it is. So this is where we're starting. Let's get our content pillars. Let's build them out. Ask yourself what I want to be known for and what do I want people to come to me for. And allow that to influence your content pillars. All right? And then tomorrow, we're going to get a little deeper into how to utilize them the best, okay? And what that's going to look like in regards to your ultimate strategy, your ultimate content strategy. All right? So, prayerfully, you got some value out of this. What I want you to do is comment, let me know what stood out to you the most. If you want to share your content pillars with me in the comments, we can most certainly do that as well. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And what I'll do is, with our lives, what I'll start to do is, if you leave a question in the comment, I will address that question, and I'll talk about that question maybe in the beginning of the live the following day. Okay, so that this way in real time you can get a real answer. So that's what we'll do this week. Listen, this is, if this information is new to you, it's cool. Hang in there. If this is something that you've heard before, hang in there, because I'm sure I'm probably going to introduce a new idea or a new angle that maybe you haven't considered before. All right. So, love you to life. Thank you so very much for tapping in with me for this morning. Do me a favor. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. So this live will be pushed out, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that can use this information, and let's keep building together. All right. So, God willing, I'm going to see you tomorrow. Let me go ahead and pray over you. Father, we thank you so very much for the blessings of today. I thank you for my people. I thank you that they're tapped in with me. I thank you that you have given them a dream, that you have given them a business, that you have given them a concept or an idea. Lord, I thank you that you have given them knowledge, wisdom, and expertise. And I thank you that they have the fire inside of them to share what it is that they share unselfishly to those who need it the most. So, Lord, I'm praying, Lord, as we build out our content strategy, that you will give them clarity, that you will give them peace, that you will help as they write down their content pillars. I pray that it comes naturally and easily to them. And also the subtopics that will come underneath those content pillars, so they will never run out of content ideas. I pray that we will no longer be reactive in our strategy, but we will be proactive and prepared in our strategy. So I'm praying for them. I'm praying for their business. I'm praying for their clients. I'm praying for leads. I'm praying for profit. I'm praying for safeguards against burnout. I'm praying for their family. I'm praying for their health and their strength. Lord, that they will be able to show up confidently and consistently and healthy for their audience, Lord. So I thank you for what you've been doing and what you will continue to do. And Lord, I pray that they will have a phenomenal day, phenomenal week. And I pray that we will all be drawn closer to you in the process. We love you and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, family. I'm going to see you on tomorrow. Peace.